So I'm excited to dive into this one. I hope my plan is to get to this one in the fall. Fingers crossed. That was not crossed fingers. Hi everybody, my name is Kelsey and we're about to get very, very nerdy with my summer book haul. So we're calling this the summer book haul, even though we're still in the middle of summer and summer's not really even close to being over quite yet, but this is what we're calling it. So this is May and June's book haul. So this includes a couple of birthday gifts, a lot of book of the month that I got in May specifically, some pre-orders, some random things that I decided to pick up because I'm planning on reading them. It's a hodgepodge, but I don't know what the rest of the summer is going to hold. I'm hoping not too much, but we'll see. But you guys know how book hauls work, so let's just dive in. The first one is this beautiful special edition from Barnes & Noble of The Night The Moth by Rachel Gillig. It's going to be kind of, there we go. I hold it at this weird angle, you can see the title. This is the author that wrote the Shepherd King duology, the first one being One Dark Window, which I read, I believe it was last year, and really enjoyed her world building and things. So I'm excited to dive into this one. I hope, my plan is to get to this one in the fall. We'll see, but she writes these like very gothic leaning stories, so we're gonna give this one a shot. But look at these beautiful sprayed edges. The cover obviously is beautiful. We have these end pages, and I think there's something on the hard, yes, there's this on the hardcover. But honestly, like, beautiful books and all, it's the sprayed edges for me. I would do anything for sprayed edges. I know I love this author's writing, so I'm excited to dive into this one. I'm not 100% sure what this one's about. I mean, I do know what this one's about, but it gets a little confusing, so I'm going to reference this a lot. But we follow our main character, Sybil, who has spent 9 years dreaming and having no dreams at all. She is like the other foundling girls who traded a decade of service for a home in a great cathedral. She's a diviner, and so she lives in this home with a bunch of other women, and she kind of like dreams the future, omens, things like that. It continues to say, just as she and her sister diviners near the end of their service, a mysterious night arrives at the cathedral. And then it says that all of a sudden her other sisters start disappearing, and so she and this knight team up to figure out what the heck is going on. I love this author's writing. I love this author's world building. I'm very excited to see what this one is about. It is the first in a series. I don't know if it's going to be another duology, if we're going to get more. I am not 100% sure. It's book one in the Stonewater Kingdom series. So we'll see if there's more than two. Either way, she has a fan in me. I picked up my copy because it's beautiful, and I love her. The next three are my June picks for book of the month. I had a June pick, and then I had a couple of add-ons because they will sequels to things that I already own. So my June pick was Silver Elite, and this is by Danny Francis, I believe is how you pronounce it. Honestly, I did it for the sprayed edges. I'm telling you, I would do anything for sprayed edges. This is the first time that I've been part of Book of the Month where they had a special edition like this, and I was all about it. It says here at the top, the first book of a sizzling dystopian romance series. Psychic gifts are a death sentence, and there are rules to survival. Trust no one, lie to everyone, and whatever you do, don't fall for your greatest enemy. So I'm not gonna lie, I don't know a lot about this book. It was pitched as a dystopian romantasy. I've heard a lot of people say that that is not accurate. So this book, I've done a little digging, and it follows a main character, Ren, and she has psychic abilities. In this world, where like those are thought of as no-no, she's called like a mod, which means that you have been modified in some way. I think that just means that, again, you have these abilities, and she's been helping the rebel uprising in small ways. But it says here that one careless mistake places her in the hands of the enemy, and she is forced to join Silverblock, their most elite training program. And she's finally handed the perfect opportunity to strike a devastating blow from inside their ranks. But of course, it also mentions her commanding officer, Cross Redden. So of course, there's going to be romance between the two of them. She's going to have a lot of secrets to hide while she's in enemy territory. I love it. Dystopian, which is usually not my vibe, but depending on the situation, this just sounded good. So we're going to give it a try and we're just going to see what happens. The next one is one of the sequels that I picked up, which is Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli. Now you may be thinking, Kelsey, didn't you buy that book earlier this year? And she would be correct, but if you remember, it was the wrong size. And I got the first one from Book of the Month. So they're these bigger hardbacks, whereas the one that I bought from Barnes & Noble was a little bit smaller. Very silly to read behind it, but I had a credit available, so I used it. Ergo why it's here. This one is the sequel, like I mentioned, in the Crimson Moth series, the first one being Heartless Hunter, which I loved. This series, or at least the first one, follows our main two characters, Rune and Gideon, and it's a witch hunter versus witch vibe. Rune is a witch, but she's hidden it. Obviously, doesn't let a lot of people know about her. And Gideon is in charge of the sect of the army that really hunts down these witches. But fun fact about Rune, she also has this like persona called the Crimson Moth, where she does things to help witches out, like getting them to foreign lands that are safe for them, or getting them out of custody, escaping, things like that. And so she is after one witch specifically, and she's trying to figure out how she can get her out of enemy hands. So she decides that she's going to try to seduce Gideon a little bit and see if she can get some information from him. Now, Gideon has a suspicion that Rune is this Crimson Moth that he is trying to find. So he does the same thing. He tries to woo her a little bit in the hopes of getting some information out of her and seeing if she is in fact this witch slash Crimson Moth. So it's the two of them trying to woo each other that may or may not turn into real feelings. So I loved it. I loved the dynamic. It's just a lot of fun. Had to pick up the second one. I mean, I've already had to replace one that matched, because honestly, it really bothered me. And then the other sequel I picked up from Book of the Month this month was A Curse of Carved Bone. This is the second in the saga of The Unfated by Daniel L. Jensen. First one was Fate Inked in Blood, which I read last year sometime. So this one follows Freya, or at least this series follows Freya. And I'm trying to remember exactly what the first one's about, but basically she has this ability that she's kept hidden for a long time, and it kind of presents itself. And so she is forced by the leader of their community to help him out, because he thinks that with this person on his side with extra special abilities that are kind of from the gods, he'll be unstoppable. And so he has a son who is the same thing. Not exactly the same ability and not the same god, but he does have an ability from a god. So he's very powerful, and he big and strong in battle and things like that. And so the two of them are training together. It's a lot more than that. There's a lot of, I believe it's Irish mythology or Celtic mythology. I know those are different things, but I can't remember exactly what it's steeped in. But it was a lot of mythology, which I enjoyed. It had a lot of elements. It was a little confusing, I'll admit, but I did enjoy it enough to clearly pick up. The second one, I don't know how long the series is going to be. I had to get the second one because I have the first one, and I did enjoy the first one. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. And now I don't have the weird problem of, do they match? Because I know they do. Alright, the next one you've definitely already seen, because it is The Secret Book of Flora Lee. This is by Patty Callahan Henry. I've talked a lot about this book. It was in my June TBR. It was in my June wrap-up. I read it for a book club. I think I included it in some summer TBR and probably summer book recommendation video, I believe. So it's been on this channel quite a lot. I really enjoyed it. Can you tell by the tabs? But here's me officially hauling it. We follow our main character, Hazel, and then her younger sister, Flora Lee. She is 14 and her sister is 5, and it's World War II, and they basically are sent away from their home in London to the countryside, so living on this farm. And one way that Hazel is trying to help her sister kind of cope with the craziness that's happening in the world is to create a world for them, which they call Whisperwood. And it's an imaginary world. They have lots of stories there, but only the two of them know about it. Other people know they have this world and this story, but they don't know what it's called. One day, unfortunately, Flora Lee goes missing, and we don't really know what kind of happened to her. We have suspicions. The police kind of get involved and figure it out a little bit, but it never really set right with Hazel and her mother. So we jump 20 years into the future, where Hazel has kind of settled a little bit, and she's working at a bookshop, and this book comes across her desk called Whisperwood, and she's like, "Excuse me, what?" Reads the book, discovers it as pretty close to the story that she she created for her sister, and that takes her down this deep, searching to figure out where the story came from, who discovered it, could Flora Lee still be alive, what the heck is going on. So it's a historical mystery. I really like it. It's not suspenseful in the sense of you were stressed the whole time, but things happen, and it kept me reading, and I definitely was shocked at the whodunit moment. But I picked this one up. Highly recommend if you are a historical fiction fan. This is a very good one. And then the last book that I picked up in May was Problematic Summer Romance, and this is by Ali Hazelwood. This is the sequel to Not in Love, which I really enjoyed. This one follows the sister and best friend of the main guy in that book. And so it follows Maya and Connor. And Maya's 23 and Connor is 38, so there is an age gap. They end up going to her brother's wedding, and it says that he gets married in, I'm not even going to know what that is, a Sicilian villa. She and Connor end up stuck together in this romantic villa for a week. So, romance, summer vibes, I'm all about it. He's kind of grumpy. She's really fun and eccentric, so I'm excited to see what this one's going to be about. I didn't realize this was a sequel. I just thought Ali Hazelwood was writing another book, and the fact that it's about people that I didn't think we were going to get a story about, but I was very interested in. I'm so excited. So you've already seen this. It's on my July TBR, but I officially picked this one up in May, and isn't it? Just tell me, this just is like the most It Screams summer cover I think I've ever seen. All right, starting out June is my book of the month pick, which you guys have seen because I talked about it. Honestly, I don't remember when, but I have talked about it with you before, which is The Ghostwriter by Julie Clark. I have really enjoyed the books that I've read by Julie Clark. I've read two. One of them actually came from Book of the Month a few years ago, and this is her most recent book, and there's just something about it that sounds fascinating. It's about a ghostwriter, but tell me this cover doesn't just scream like Fahrenheit 451. I don't think, like, based on the synopsis, it has nothing to do with that, but like that's the vibe. Anyway, so I'm just going to read you the synopsis. It's not super long, but I think it'll describe it better than I can. June 1975. The Taylor family shatters in a single night when two teenage siblings are found dead in their own home. The only surviving sibling, Vincent, never shakes the whispers and accusations that he was the one who killed them. Decades later, the legend only grows as his career as a horror writer skyrockets. Ghostwriter Olivia Dumas has spent her entire professional life hiding the fact that she is the only child of Vincent Taylor. Now on the brink of financial ruin, she's offered the job of ghostwriting her father's last book. What she doesn't know, though, is that this project is another one of his lies, because it's not another horror novel he wants her to write. After 50 years of silence, Vincent Taylor is finally ready to talk about what really happened that night in 1975. Yes, that's all I needed. I'm on board. The next couple are birthday gifts. This one is from my best friend, Lauren. You've seen her many times on this channel. And she got me the beautiful special edition of Acatar, which I don't own. It's in the slipcase. Here we go. It's like, just look at all the gold foiling. It's beautiful. We've got Flora there on the cover. And then we've got the wolf here on the back, which is clearly supposed to be Tamlin. It's all nice and shiny. The inside is beautiful as well. We do have a beautiful map, which I feel like is in the Acatar books, the ones I have, but I might have made that up. And then we have, like, all the pages have these, like, fun illustrations. Thank you so much, Lauren. I'm very excited to have a collector's edition. I wish they'd done all of them, just because, like, well, I love the series. The first one's my least favorite in the series, so I would like to have all of them in this beautiful edition, but I'm happy and content, and now it's beautiful and collector's editions, and yay. So do I really even need to tell you what Acatar is about? I feel like I've talked about it forever. Also, it's incredibly popular as far as books go. So Acatar follows our main character, Feyre, who basically, to try to keep her family alive, she goes hunting and ends up killing a wolf, which turns out to be a shape-shifting fairy. So to kind of right her wrong, she gets approached, well, her entire family basically gets approached by the guy who's in charge of that territory. She ends up basically making a deal with the guy in charge, that for the life of the wolf she took, she will give her life to him, and so she goes with him to the fairy world. It's a Beauty and the Beast-ish retelling. It continues into more than that, but that's what the first one is about. And now I have this beautiful, stunning edition. Right, the next one is another birthday gift, but it was one of those, like, you know, on Etsy where you can go and, like, get a blind book, and it comes with, like, stickers and a pen and some bookmarks, and it's all wrapped up beautifully. I wish I had taken a picture of it before I unboxed it. So I got one of those from one of my friends, which unfortunately became To Happen to Hold by Martha Waters. I say unfortunately only because I already own this book. However, I own the ARC copy, not the finished copy, whereas the rest of the books in this series are finished copies. So now it matches. I'm going to hold on to it, is basically what I'm saying. So now I have all of them in the finished copy plus the fun ARC copy. And then if I decide later, like at a later date, that I don't need both, then I can get rid of one or the other. But now I have a beautiful finished copy. So this is the first in the Regency Vows series. This one started it all. It follows Lady Violet and her husband, Lord James, and they get married, and about a year into the marriage they fall out of love. They have a big argument, and so they've kind of been living separately, and she finds out that her husband has a terrible fall, and she rushes to his side to find out that he sprained his ankle. Well, it's a little bit of a miscommunication, but she thinks it's him trying to get her, like, back at her, so she ends up out pranking him, and it ends up being a prank war between this couple as they fall back in love. It's funny. It's like the banter is beautifully written. I love this series. This one's definitely my favorite, the first one. So I would love to just reread it one day just because I had such a good time with it. But it's Regency romance, funny. It's great. I then picked up a copy of Swept Away by Beth O'Leary. This is her most recent book that came out in April of this year, I believe. I've had this on many a TBR. You actually saw it in my July TBR. This one is basically our two main characters, Zeke and Lexi, have a one-night stand. They think it's going to be a one-night thing. It's in like this coastal town. They both live on houseboats, so they end up going to one of the houseboats. And because it's a houseboat, they wake up and they're in the middle of nowhere, and their houseboat is floating away, and they have to figure out how to survive until someone finds them. So it's them lost at sea. Of course, it's more than that. They have like more deeper conversations, and they learn some things about each other. But I have the arc of it, and I'm not quite sure where I am in it, but I've made it like 15 to 20% of the way through, and I really like it so far. So I picked up a physical copy because I love Beth O'Leary stuff, so I knew I was going to like this. So this one is her most recent one that I have picked up. And the final book that I picked up was The Marjack by John Mars. I read the one by him last year, really loved it, and I have just a book by him on my 2025 TBR. I have this one, and then there's one called The Family Experience or something. I'll pop a cover here if you want to check it out. I also could just look in here and it might tell me. But those are the three that sound the most interesting to me. So I picked this one up. It sounds interesting. It's not a very long synopsis, so I'm just going to read the back to you. It says, "What if marriage was the law? Dare you disobey? Britain, the near future. A right-wing government believes it has the answer to society's ills, the Sanctity of Marriage Act, which actively encourages marriage as the norm, punishing those who choose to remain single. But four couples are about to discover just how impossible relationships can be when the government is monitoring every aspect of our personal lives, monitoring every word, every minor disagreement, and will use every tool in its arsenal to ensure everyone will love, honor, and obey." I did flip through it, and I found it really interesting because it has these graphics, which are clearly like government propaganda, like scattered throughout this book as well, and it just looks really interesting. I don't know. I really liked the one, like I mentioned, by him. He's got this speculative sci-fi-ish futuristic writing, at least plots. And so this is one that sounded really interesting. It's kind of thick, honestly, but I think the one was also pretty thick. It's about 430 pages or so. I don't know. I'm hoping that this will be maybe one of the books I get to this fall. I really enjoy the other things by him, and this one was already on my TBR, so I decided to pick it up and just add it to my collection. It's a birthday gift to me from me. And that's it. That is a look at the book I picked up in May and June. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, let me know if you've read any of the books that I have mentioned in today's video, or if there's something that you have picked up recently and you want to chat about, let me know down below. And if you want to comment something, but you're not sure what to comment a key, because Rebel Witch has a key, but also, oh, that's a knife. A key or a knife? Do a key or a knife, because these two were near me and they have things on them. So, key, knife, like choices. But if you like this video, and I very much hope that you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you'd like to be part of this awesome growing family. I've also got all my social media down there, other fun bookish links. So go check all that out, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!